Sure. Today we're going to talk about radical unschooling and peaceful parenting. So there is so much to talk about with the topic, and then in an hour is never enough time. So what we're going to be sharing with you today is literally the very tip of the iceberg. So some things you hear in this interview will be new to you. Some you'll hear and think are absolutely crazy, I'm sure. And some you'll hear and it might trigger something in you. You couldn't even fathom putting them in an authoritarian dynamic like school after them being treated so respectfully at home. And so it's two totally different paradigms. And so I think really helping parents understand children's rights is what's going to it'll just easily they'll slip into the educational piece. And in fact, anything I've ever done in the media, we've done a lot with television. They never focus on the homeschooling side of it, the unschooling, the educational piece. They focus on the parenting. That's the most shocking. That's the hardest to wrap their head around, is giving children freedom and respect, and focusing on the needs under the behavior. People are so afraid to be different. They're so afraid to be judged. And I've always believed in this so much. I knew the only way to get word out about this, to help people to raise their consciousness and bring more awareness to it, was to allow myself to be completely sensationalized. I knew I would be. And I held my head high and I stood by, and it really it paid off, because I just knew in my heart it was the right thing to do. The internet really changed the face of parenting. The internet changed the face of education. Us being able to connect right now and support each other and educate people about a different way, it's changing human evolution. And so prior to that, people only knew what they knew based on what was done to them, based on experts like doctors or teachers, which was always authoritarian advice. Literally who we are as human beings was warped completely by that. And so I think what we're trying to do is get back to who we really are. It takes pulling off layers and layers, that cultural armor that we've put on to survive or to have our own needs met has really weighed us down. And so it's like a lifetime of just releasing that cultural armor, just releasing it all to be able to get to that authentic state that we want our children to always have and maintain. So we want our children to have a better lives. We don't want them to have to go through this process of undoing. The way that you can come to a radical unschooling, which is a philosophy of peace, respect, partnership. It's a very hands-on role as a parent walking this path, but I'll get into that in a minute. You need to liberate yourself, admit to yourself where you're freaking broken, because you are. There's places within you that is broken from it all. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're lacking. We're all broken people walking this path together and healing and getting better and better every day. So I just want you to know, if you're listening to this, you don't have to be a perfect parent. You don't even have to be close to a perfect person. You're just somebody saying, I have been really screwed up in my past from the traditional parenting dynamic. I have a lot of broken pieces that I want to put together. I want to become the best version of myself. It's incredible how intact kids are when they're given freedom and never forced to do things they don't want to do. This journey of expansion and learning never ends. And you want your kids to see you constantly growing and expanding as a human being, because that is what learning is all about. That's what life is all about. That's what being human is all about. If this is making sense, what we're saying, and you're not, even if you think we're a little crazy, but there's something about it that's making sense, research it, find out more about it and see if this is the right path for you and your children. Because if your children are unhappy in school and they're unhappy in whatever their current dynamic is, no matter how well-intentioned you are, it will cause them damage. I have a YouTube channel, our family does, called The Sparkling Martins. And you'll have to check that out. Tons of videos about unschooling, but then our everyday life, what it's like, so you can see more about it.
Yearning for learning or pleading to lead, you've got what you need to proceed to succeed. Believe it, incite it, read it and write it, ignite it.